Alright, so how do you get there? So you basically want to fly into the main airport there in Salvador. And what I did and what most people do is you just take an Uber literally from the airport to El Tunco. Once you're there, you don't really need transportation because you've got two of the best waves right in front. There in Sunsal, or you can go to La Bocana, and basically you can just walk around the town, shops, restaurants, everything. But you do want to stay, again, like I said, on that main strip on the boardwalk of Surf City, where the big Surf City sign is. If you haven't seen it, but when you go there, you'll check it out and you'll be like, oh, I know what Splash was talking about. So you definitely want to do that there. Alright, next tip. Most important thing is before you even go, you want to plan your trip. So around the rainy season, alright, so rainy season is from March to October. That's when you're going to get the best swells. So if you're more of an advanced pro level surfer, you want to go there. If you're more of a beginner surfer and you want to go, I recommend going during the dry season. So during the dry season would be from November now all the way down to around March. So you want to plan your surfs around that time depending on, you know, your level, and to maximize and have like the best experience. So that's what I would recommend you do before you even plan anything. Alright, next tip. Honestly, you want to have a step-up board just because when you go over there, it's definitely a deeper water wave. So the takeoff is a little bit slow and a little bit like a lot of water movement, you know? So you definitely want to be like right on the peak, because the peak is where it's going to have the most push. And sometimes you feel like, oh, you're just going to go over the falls and it's just going to throw you, but that's actually exactly where you need to be, because that is what's going to allow you to actually drop in. Because if you go a little bit to the right, there's not enough push and enough power, so you're just going to paddle and miss it. So having a board with a little bit more buoyancy, so a little bit more volume, is definitely going to help there to catch and paddle into the waves. Once you're up and riding, it's going to be nice because honestly, I mean, I've surfed a lot of waves around Central and South America and some long waves, but this one's probably one of the longest. I mean, I've done Chicama and Pavones, and those are just by default the longest waves in the world. But this one is actually, I'd say probably one of like the third that I've done. And I think it's a very long wave, so you're going to be planning for a lot of cutbacks, a lot of turns, a lot of roundhouses. So you want to have a board that will allow you to do that. And it's really a fun wave. Like, I had a lot of fun there, just riding it and just going and going and going. So definitely be prepared for a long wave, long paddle, and a lot of just snaps, cutbacks. So, you know, check out your quiver and get the board that will allow you to have and maximize the amount of fun out there with those conditions being said, you know. Alright, next thing that we gotta talk about is this is probably the most crowded break I've been to, and it's competitive. There's so many people out in the water. It's a zoo. If you're there like midday, it's literally a zoo. It's chaos. And everybody wants a wave, and you definitely want to be picky because once you catch it, like I said, it's long waves, so you're going to be gone for a while. And definitely kick out. That's one thing I learned. You definitely, once you've had enough, you've kind of got the main chunk, the prime time of the wave, you want to cut out the back, because if not, you're going to be splashing it all the way to shore and paddling back. And you do that maybe 3-4 times and you're just exhausted, because it is, like I said, a long paddle. So basically, yeah, like ride it, do the maneuvers. Once you've had enough, boom, shoot off the back, paddle back, and get back into position. All right, this lineup, like I said, is pretty aggressive too. I remember I caught a wave and I was from the peak and I started pumping, and there was some longboarder, some local girl there, and I went around her and continued. Ooh. She hated that. Like, literally, she just started yelling at me in Spanish and she thought I'd understand. Pero yo entendí todo. O sea, todo lo que me dijo, lo entendí y más. And so you definitely want to be respectful out there. Even if you do the right thing, just be respectful, because like the locals will gang up on you and stuff. So yeah, a lot of locals, a lot of longboarders too, which is something to consider. So if you're a shortboarder like myself, know that you're going to be competing with a lot of people with longboards that are going to be like way behind you, catching all the waves. at ease. So just know that and just keep that into consideration, like from now, so when you're there it doesn't bother you, because yeah, there's a lot of longboarders in El Salvador. So yeah, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. Alright, for all my lefties out there, so the good thing is by staying in Tunco there in Surf City, they have one of, if not the only left in El Salvador. There's not a lot of lefts out there, so for you lefties, you're getting left behind. You still get a chance there. It's called La Bocana, and it's actually, I thought, a pretty fun wave, and I wouldn't say it's better than Sunsal, the one on the right, but La Bocana is on the left, which is kind of funny. So right on the right side of the beach, and then the left is on the left side by this funky looking rock. You're just gonna go over there. And it's an A-frame, so you got rights and lefts, but it's super pitchy. So like, it'll just throw you and you're just going on for a ride. And it is a bit rocky there, so I was gonna say, another tip is if you guys have like, you know, booties. I hate booties. They're absolutely horrible for me. But if you're like a booty person and you like, you know, the booty, bring them, because there's like river rocks there. So especially on La Bocana on the left, they're bigger stones, and on the lower tide, you can see them, and you kind of have to do the waddle out there. So if you have booties, you'll probably like run through that with ease. But if not, you could slip and slide and things can get a little juicy. But yeah, overall that left is really fun, and I was doing that a lot too, honestly. And I like going front side more, and I was just taking the lefts over there. But yeah, also consider that the local kids too are really good, and they're everywhere. Like right after school, they're there just like shredding it, you know? And yeah, just consider that. All right, next tip. So you definitely want to go to the events if you're going to the WSL events, which is April. So it's a good time to go surfing. But again, like I said, it's the worst time if you're gonna plan it, because literally like everybody's gonna be there, all the pros. So if you want to go there and see the pros, go ahead, but just know that all the places are going to be booked. You know, all the best surfers in the world are going to be in the water. So you're probably not going to have much of a chance, and not to be rude or anything, but a lot of these guys really don't care because they're pros. I've surfed a lot with, you know, upper level surfers, and that's kind of how it is. You know, they just kind of circle around you. So that's something to consider. But if you want to go for the event, kind of like live the experience, then yeah, go in April. But book your stuff like a year in advance or something, because yeah, it gets pretty packed. So yeah, those were my top recommendations if you're gonna go surf in El Salvador. And yeah, definitely check out La Punta. That's a good one too. It's just a little bit away from Sunsal and El Tunco. Yeah, you don't really need to rent a car unless you want to. If you rent a car, you can go check out all these other waves around the area, but definitely staying in Surf City is the best way to do it, and that's what I recommend. So yeah, it's your boy Splash here signing off, and I hope you learned something today and you have an awesome trip over in El Salvador. Alright, we'll see you there. Keep it juicy, and we'll see you in the lineup.